I am losing money mining Bitcoin. Bitcoin mining is not worth it unless you have millions of dollars now, or one other unique scenario, which I'm trying to build towards. At this point, a lot of time invested in this, a lot of money, just a lot of effort. And looking at 2025, small scale Bitcoin mining is not worth it. I've got about 30 Bitcoin miners, and the only entity getting rich with my Bitcoin mining, other than the miner manufacturers, is the electric company. I'm Vosk, you're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. I've been working hard to build out the VoskCoin mining farm and document it here last several years. And today we're gonna break down the numbers. How much Bitcoin are my Bitcoin miners earning? Should I have just bought the coin? What would that look like? Is this an effective DCA into the coin? Am I upside down? Am I losing money? Was this all a mistake? How much does BTC have to pump for me to be like, well, yeah, that was worth it, or at least kind of? So I have about 30 Bitcoin miners running. Several of them are off-site. Most of them are on my Brains mining account, but I have some on other mining pools and other things like that. When we run my math one way, I have 24 Bitcoin miners that profit after electricity, per the calculators, per the estimates, per the algorithm, per the formula I have, $17 a day right now, plus 17 bucks a day. Like, oh, that would be nice. It's like a free lunch every day. Dude, 24 miners plus $17 a day. And those miners previously were costing me like 10 bucks a day to run. A lot of the coin I've mined, I've gotten into at about 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Recently, I've gotten a better electricity rate on the farm of about 7 cents per kilowatt hour, which makes a substantial difference. I mean, it decreases my electricity cost by literally 30%. But imagine getting into 24 miners. A lot of my miners I bought at 1,000. We do have a unique advantage with the VoskCoin mining farm. Some miners we do get into review. Some miners we basically trade labor in exchange for, things like that. So my cost per miner is pretty low, all things considered. It's a unique advantage of the VoskCoin mining business. But there are many things that I can only get so far around, like the electricity bill and the general mining infrastructure. To deploy this stuff, I've spent so much money on my electrician and even just freaking copper wire. But the point is, get all these devices. Let's just say you buy 24 S19 generation miners for $1,000 each, right? That's 24 grand. Some of these miners are current generation and they substantially help that actual profit number, like the Antminer S21 and the WhatsMiner M60S. Okay, but look, the equation gets worse. So that number takes a few miners that are outside of my Brains Bitcoin mining pool, and a couple of those miners outside are, some of the best ones I have, latest generation. And so when I look at my actual day-to-day for about 22 of my miners, I'm actually mining about $110 worth of Bitcoin per day. And let's do some basic math here, right? So if we've got $110 divided by 22, that's $5 of Bitcoin per miner. Many of my miners only cost about $5 a day to run. I have a lot of them underclocked, basically running on the most efficient settings possible. Some are breaking even, some are losing a little bit of money, some are making a little bit of money. But yeah, like 22 machines at like $5 each. Dude, I mean, the cold reality is, does that seem like a good move to you? I mean, gosh, it's a lot of work when you start to try to deploy more and more miners. Sure, a couple ones are honestly easy passive income. But how the f is this interesting, right? I ordered an L9 with Coin Mining Central. I got it within like a week, got it deployed. That miner is mining nearly $30 of coin per day. After expenses, I'm pocketing $20 of mining profitability. And at that miner's price point, instead of buying 24 Bitcoin miners that I'm not really all that far into the green with, I could have 3 of those. I could be plus 60 bucks a day. Right? And it's like, well, you're taking latest generation versus previous generation. Okay, well, let's run that number with the S21 XP. I could buy about 4 of those and they would cost me about $6 a day to run. and they would mine $10 to $11 of Bitcoin per day. So I would be profiting maybe $5 or so after accounting for my electricity expense per miner. So I would be about 20 bucks into the green, which is comparable to literally one of the L9s that I'm buying on the other side. And I could get into about 3 of those for that same budget.
Want Bitcoin and crypto assets but don't want to mine them? There are lots of crypto exchanges out there for trading. Check out today's video sponsor, Margex, which is a crypto exchange where you can trade Bitcoin and lots of other cryptocurrencies using leverage without any KYC or VPN. Right now they have a special where you can get a $50 bonus if you sign up using our link, and an additional $50 if you deposit $100. Once you make a deposit, use code VoskCoin to get an additional 20% bonus on deposits. Make sure you research and understand the risks of leverage trading before participating. This is not financial advice.
I love Bitcoin, believer in Bitcoin, all that stuff. I'm not a BTC maxi, right? But I could indirectly mine Bitcoin with a mining pool like NiceHash, and there's other services that do it all too. And I can put my miners there, park them there, and get automatic BTC payouts forever. So that's interesting. To be honest, I think that Dogecoin, sadly, I say this sadly, is more likely to 10x than Bitcoin is likely to 10x, especially in the next bull cycle. Sure, I don't think Dogecoin's gonna stay up there. I think that Bitcoin will increase in value and it will hold a higher value much longer. But I think that in a more zoomed in time frame, Doge could also have better returns. So I'm actually mining Doge and holding Doge. And it has cold wallet support. I mean, it's very secure. I'm about it. This isn't a pitch for Dogecoin mining. That is just an example. I'm mining many other cryptocurrencies. Some like Doge are going very well. Some like ALF are going awful, right? We got into a miner for about 30 grand. Within 2 weeks, you could order the same damn thing for $10,000. I assure you, I didn't even mine close to $20,000 in that period. It's disgusting. Mining manufacturers are pieces of shit. They are price gouging, shady bastards. But mining is really fun and addicting. So here we are. And at some point, you pay off your miner, and it can be a really lucrative endeavor, especially with cheap electricity. Or, cheat code, imagine you have solar and excess generation. Right, so I've been working on developing a solar plan for my home, and then I'm gonna move on to the farm and stuff beyond that. So I'm basically putting in the extra generation to power one miner year round. And then I'm probably gonna do a phase 2 when I'm ready, add to the array and be able to run 2 miners at the house year round. We'll see how exactly I wanna go about this and direction I wanna take all this stuff, at least with, over here versus at the farm, where I try to keep my mining, ugly word in crypto, but centralized there, concentrated, maybe we should say. But the key takeaway, right, is, I mean, wow, is it difficult to mine Bitcoin and be profitable. I'm competing against billion-dollar companies, and that's the reality. And they have huge economies of scale. They're getting into miners so cheap. Their electricity rates are so cheap. In numbers where I'm losing money, they're still making money and maybe even profiting a lot. So what do I do? Where do I go from here? The reality is that I'm spending over $200 a day on electricity for Bitcoin mining. And best case scenario, I'm probably pulling in about 20 bucks. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. And I will say, a few of my best Bitcoin miners are down that would help this equation. Specifically, my Antminer S21 Pro, got that in, brand new, best in class at the time for a short period. Now the S21 XP is the best. Broken. It's broken. Doesn't work. Sent it in for a warranty repair. That was last week. Still waiting. One of my S21s. When I received it, it was the best Bitcoin miner in the world. Broken. I had put that one in immersion fluid. Yeah, it was immersed. It was in the fog hashing C6. And I don't think it overheated and died. I think that the PSU may have been damaged during a storm. Just kind of the way it goes, the risk with this stuff. I don't have great storm mitigation on the farm. To be honest, you can get by pretty well with basically none. And it's confusing and potentially very expensive for some of the solutions. So I keep kicking that can down the road. maybe to my detriment. But here's the takeaway. I immersed the miner. Guess what voids the warranty? Immersion fluid. Yeah. So I don't know if they're gonna cover it. They did email me and notify me that it was received. And I think this is literally just gonna be a matter of, does the guy who received it wanna be cool and just fix it up? Or did he say, oh hell nah, put that thing straight on a round trip right back to me? Or maybe one of these days I'm gonna get an email with a big bill, you know, saying, hey, yeah, we're charging you for X, Y, Z to fix this thing. I'll be like, well, I'm gonna have to run the math because at best I'm making $5 a day on this thing. So that's a lot of days to pay off hundreds and hundreds of dollars in addition to these actual minor costs. I'm very hopeful that the market's gonna go parabolic sooner or later. Sometime in 2025, worst case, maybe 2026. That's gonna bring a lot of take profit opportunities. It's gonna surge miner prices. I'm not really interested in unloading the farm. I know that's a strategy of some people, and I get it, right? You have this asset of the miner and it only has so much of a lifespan, and you know, you take profits, right? But I've got a lot of mining infrastructure built out, and my mindset is that, one, I'm gonna pivot to higher risk, higher reward miners, and I don't mean absolute shit risk, super risky miners like Alpha Casper miners that have rapidly degenerating rewards along with miner prices. I mean things like ETC, Doge, CKB, and so forth. And when the market hopefully goes parabolic, I'm gonna slow down and at some point just stop buying and acquiring miners. The prices, it just won't be worth it. And it's at that exact point that I'm not just gonna take time off. I'm a workaholic, man. I'm gonna pivot solar. And getting my feet wet with the residential deployment, it's a key part of my mission. And then I'm thinking to build out basically 3 to 4 times that array size out at the farm and use that to power what we call the field building, VoskCoin HQ. We do a lot of activities in, out, and around there. And I'm probably just gonna build a little box outside of it. It'd be a little ugly, but I could literally just put it on the porch and then have it draw cool air from the direction of the door and shoot it out, you know, outside past the building wall. And yeah, and just be running machines on solar. With the deployment like that, I wouldn't be looking to do anything crazy right there. We're talking 4, 6 machines probably. And then I would be looking at doing a serious big boy deployment. I mean, we're talking, I want a couple acres full of solar panels. And I mean, it's just the only way I see this stuff viable long term. And I'm sitting on a lot of hardware. So I don't even need a PPA, a power purchase agreement with the power company. And because electricity is relatively cheap in Virginia, especially compared to national averages. So let's just say that I could even sell it back at like a decent price, like 10 cents per kilowatt hour. I should be able to make way better returns mining, and well, I already have the gear, and it could be the equivalent for me selling my power at like 50 cents, right? 50 cents per kilowatt hour or whatever it is, whatever it breaks down to. So those are some numbers I need to run, but I gotta make some moves to, you know, really achieve financial freedom. And I just don't mean a quick hit and make a little bit of money. Like I want to build something that's going to generate income for me forever, right? I don't have a retirement. I don't have a pension coming. Social Security is not going to save me. This country's in shambles anyway. Bottom line is, you need to be more creative and work harder and make more money and have a higher net worth than ever before, if for no other reason than many things, inflation, right? And then using a good store of value, right? I mean, you can think of Bitcoin as many things, but it's basically digital gold at this point, as far as I'm concerned. And I just look, I mean, it gets old and tired. It always shows like marketing, but it's like, you look at $1,000 in your savings account, you know, 1, 2, 5, 10 years ago, and then you look at $1,000 if you put it into Bitcoin at all those different points. Worst case scenario, right now, you'd pretty much just be at break even, which isn't far off from if you had just put it in a savings account, especially if you don't have something with a good rate, right? So like, I have some USD in savings accounts, just a little conservative, FDIC insured hedge, stuff like that. And one of the things I use is Robinhood Gold, right? So we've got a link, get a free stock, all that stuff, whatever. But so I have Robinhood and I subscribe to Robinhood Gold, and you get a better interest rate. And it was 5% for a while, which was incredible. And then it's gone down to 4.5%. And you can there's a lot of different funds, money market things like that. Some of them can be very advantageous and actually get you a higher realized post-tax yield. What a point I'm trying to make here is there are some really good savings accounts that have been in line with the high interest rates, right? And those are opportunities for people with a lot of money to hedge themselves against inflation to a degree at like essentially no risk, right? And that's why the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. So while the poor are getting eaten up by these high interest rates, they're going out and buying cars they don't need and shit like that, right? So this isn't a flex, right? So I've got a truck over there. I'm in America. I could have bought whatever truck I wanted, not because I'm so awesome or I have so much money or whatever. It's because they'll sell you literally anything. And that's one of the problems, right? And so I bought that truck because it accomplishes all my goals. It's nice, and it checks the box, and it's lavish and luxurious as far as I'm concerned. But it's not like I didn't buy a 2500 when I didn't need a 2500. I didn't buy a diesel when I didn't need a diesel. I didn't buy a 3500. And most importantly of all, you know what I did when I bought that? I got 0% interest. Zero. You know how much I put down? Zero. Why the fuck would I put any money down? They gave me 0% interest. My debt is working for me. So you could say, oh, well, maybe you didn't even buy the truck. You could do all these other things. Of course I could do other things, but I wanted and needed a truck. So I bought a truck, and it's essentially working for me. It's 0% interest. There are people going out right now and buying trucks for 10% interest. And it's just it's financial suicide. What do I do with the money that I could have put down on that truck or used to pay it off or whatever? At a minimum, I could put it in that savings account I was talking about. Now the rate's around 4.5%, right? So I could earn 4.5% on my money and make them carry the note for my truck. Or I could take that same money and invest it, right? I could put it in Bitcoin, stocks, whatever else. But alas, I'll get off that tangent. So, the bottom line is I've been deep in the sauce, lost in the sauce, thinking about what do I do? Where do I go from here? How do I make gains? How do I make progress? How do I mix it up? Because thinking that you can keep doing the same shit over and over and over again in a market and world that is ever changing is not the best recipe. Crypto mining alone has changed so much that I'm like, dude, I need to shut the fuck up and take a step back and reanalyze this, because our old playbook is not working as well. We are not converting on third down like we need to be. What the fuck are we doing wrong? I thought this was foolproof. Why is our passer rating so low? So I've been thinking about everything. I've been looking at everything, and there's a lot of different routes I can go. And I think what is the most interesting to me, what's the most true to me, my original goal, my dream, all this stuff, because you gotta find passion too. Passion is like the root of success, not all this other bullshit necessarily. You gotta be able to stay the course. That's really one of the most difficult parts. I've been doing this for nearly a decade. Can you start this and do this for the next 10 years? Seriously, do you think you can commit like that? You probably do. Leave me a comment here in 10 years and let me know, did you actually make it? Or what year did you bow out? Or are you the man and you actually stuck with it? Right, my point is Bitcoin mining is just not worth it. It's just not worth it. As much as I like Bitcoin, want to hold Bitcoin, want to stack Satoshis and all that bullshit, Bitcoin mining, I hate saying this, but I'm also trying to just remind myself, it's not worth it. I still will get a few Bitcoin miners in. I love Bitcoin mining. I'm probably going to get in like one of new models generation. Like I want to get an XP. It's 13.5 watts a terahash. The efficiency is freaking incredible, compared to generations past. And it's got that cool LCD screen on the top. I mean, I want to nerd out. Just let me be happy. And I want to get one, right? I ordered 12 CKB Antminer K7s over the last year. And before that, I bought 10 Bitcoin miners in one day. But the point is, I'm not going to go out there and buy 10 more Bitcoin miners in one day, or even 10 more of the same Bitcoin miners ever, right? I enjoy making content. I enjoy making videos. It's fun. It's engaging. It helps me kind of work through this stuff all day, every day. That's the point. That's the point. So I'm done. I appreciate you tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that I'm not a bit too all over the place. I just feel like my mind's running 100 miles an hour. I just kind of want to puke out my position, I guess, here, if you will. Obviously, I can't give financial advice and all that stuff, but I hope that, you know, if you don't have anyone else to talk to about this stuff, that, you know, my content, you know, is enjoyable for you. And if you do have people, you know, obviously that's great too. But I just know what it's like to be getting into really, you know, anything, whatever. And your friends don't want to get into it with you, or you don't have any good friends, or people think it's dumb or unsupportive, right? I had opposition at every step of my life with like almost everything I've done. Anyway, you know, stay strong, stay the course, chase your dreams, have fun, and remember that you know, we only get one life. How about you wish a happy birthday to Tails? We run 10 seconds of Tails in every video. She kickstarted the VoskCoin journey. We almost lost her in the beginning. It was just devastating and so stressful and sad. Couldn't be happier that she came out of that, and now we just eclipsed year 9. Super happy, super proud, super thankful for every day I get with that pup. Among many other things. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. See you on the next one. Hey, you want to buy a mining rig? Do you want a pretty good price on it and pretty fast shipping? Then you may be looking for ASIC Marketplace. Click our link in the video description below to not only support our channel, but support yourself with the coupon code we've got right next to it.